Hey, so I am going to go ahead and reflect upon AERA 2013. Before I get started, I just am showing a few pictures of my pre-AERA takeoff. If you're ever in the Portland, Oregon area, come on last Thursday to the Alberta Arts District. There are some wild and fun times. We're looking at a hula hoop dancer with quite a crowd around her. Of course, your general every day, are you there yet? Are you there yet? Oh, by the way, I'm on stilts so I can get a signal. Couple of funky instrument players. He was actually pretty good. Beautiful art. Definitely worth coming to PDX for. Alright, on to AERA. This was a really exciting conference for me. I was really into it. This man right here, everybody that I talked to blew my mind away. Sharing some really insightful things about both game-based learning, mobile learning, and blends between, and all sorts of great things. There seemed to be a huge number of strands related to the topic areas that I'm truly interested in with regards to educational technology. There are some duds, but not very many, honestly, much fewer than I expected. This lady was talking about EcoMove. It's a project that she's been working on. I unfortunately can't remember everybody's names because I'm experiencing post-conference trauma to the brain. This is Kurt Squire. I've been actually quoting him quite a bit. And he was talking about some of the things that GLS is doing, the Games Learning in Society. Wow. And at one point during one of the presentations, and maybe I have slides from it later on, he actually spoke as if he were his wife, Constance Steinpooler, who is another person I've quoted. So I like these people. These are a little bit of hero worshiping going on. I don't know why I took the pictures and didn't get the slides that came out, so you have no idea what they're talking about, and I have forgotten as well. It's more of like a ode to the thinkers in game learning and mobile learning. Here's Chris Dede. Of course, I recognize him right away. And he was he put the panel together with Kurt Squire. I can't remember names. That's a bad thing. I did take a break after that presentation. And sent this picture off to a friend. I was going to ask them which they prefer, How to Stay Alive in the Woods or Urban Survival Guide. Of course, I go with the Urban Survival Guide because I don't plan on ever being in the woods, and if I do, staying alive does not really, I don't know, the woods are scary. Anyways, and I might have done some shopping. And this one is here just for Emily, just one of my teacher friends. I'm totally going to wear this one day. All right, post that first set of sessions, the first day was honestly not that huge, but post that we had a gathering of Portland State professors and graduate students. So here is SB, one of my mentors, along with Moti, who will be a mentor whether he likes it or not, because he does quantitative research analysis, and it's going to be really important for my research design, which is a bit of a mixed methods thing. And they're doing a really cool mixed methods research study right now, although it's not in line with what I plan on doing. And over to the right is Burned. Burned is generally cool. I don't know whose back was to us because I can't see their face. So yeah, don't they look like brother and sister? They should be related even though they're not. Here was another great presentation. Unfortunately, my brain is still in meltdown mode. I do know that I plan on following her work. She definitely had some great ideas and thoughts with regard to game-based playing. And then we had an Ignite session. And this Ignite session, I have to say, was really, really... I think this was the Ignite session. No, this was... Watkins, G, and Jenkins. Three powerhouses taking questions, sharing their philosophy on play, on what game learning and education in general, where it's going, what's going to happen with it. And the Twitter for Pound AER Play was going crazy. Really, definitely a few moments of hero worship. Here's G. I think. Here's Watkins. And I don't think I got a picture of Jenkins. I did shake hands with all of them. was feeling the love, which actually, if you go to Union Square in San Francisco where the conference took place, there's these giant hearts where you can feel the love, apparently. I just thought it was really cool. The sky was so blue, the heart was so blue, people were chilling out in the shade of the heart. It's just a really cool place. Anyways, got into this really exciting discussion about gender and technology, about learning theories. Just really enjoyed this one session. It's going to inform my core exam paper quite a bit, because the way he framed Freire's discussion really made sense. And I know that that's going to appeal to one of the people on my committee, and yet simultaneously brought in ideas about figured worlds, which goes along with the constructivist thing that I'm going to be talking about in terms of micro worlds and what that means. Just some great information, some great people that I'm going to have to look at to quote and do some more reading. Shively's going to take a lot of reading from me. I don't even know if I can keep up with it all. And so, yeah, I'm going to bounce through these slides. I don't know why I focused so much on this one, except that it was really exciting. Yay! Here is Yasmin Kafai. I'm messing up her name. Sorry if you ever watch this. I hope you don't, because this is embarrassing. She was really, really fun to listen to. She really knows her stuff. On the ball, pulling out some cool ideas. I feel like I've met her in Second Life somewhere, but it may not be true because we were unable to connect the dots when we were talking. But she's definitely got a really strong foothold. Now this gentleman, the reason I took the picture is because he shared the bow tie thing I had going on all conference long. But his presentation wasn't that inspiring. Some art. I really fell in love with the hotel art, which is kind of sad. And here we are at the main event. Arnie Duncan presented at AERA, and so there was protests. There was protests on Twitter. There was protests in the room where Arnie Duncan was working. There was a separate site where people went to and held their own event. And then there were these folks out in front of the hotel where Arnie was presenting, shouting out their thing. And I sat there watching it at first. I'm not really... I wasn't as clear on what I would do if I were involved in any of the protesting, but I thought I could document a little bit of it. So I actually shot some video. Hopefully I didn't catch anybody's faces, but I'm not going to share it anyways. And they were just, basically looking at a lack of trying to avoid some corporate issues with regard to it. And it's just really interesting to look at it. Definitely the education, not corporation stuff. Public schools, not church schools. You can hear that. Some basic anti-corporate stuff going on, but also just a really cool show of support from the research community for education, which sometimes I wonder if we're not in this bubble that loses track. But this is some talk of let's be accountable. Let's talk. I don't know. It just was really cool. I really liked this sign. I was trying to get it all in there. Really a great thing to see. And then of course, I had to walk around behind the police car and make it look like it was all hit mob police thing. But the police officers were basically just chilling out there, and they didn't really want anything to do. And then it broke up after that. It didn't last very long. Whatever. One of the fun things about the entire day, and I barely did anything with it. Also, listening to, this was at a presentation, a special interest group presentation by Kurt Squire, I think. I'm pretty sure. And he put up this graphic that shows all of the universities with Games for Impact programs. And I didn't realize that a few of these existed. And there's a few that aren't on here that have games programs, but this is the Games for Impact programs, and I was really excited to see some of these. These are all places that I need to start paying attention to in terms of my personal future. Where am I going to go after my doctorate, postdoc stuff? So I'm going to be a little bit better attentive and see if I can't develop some stronger relationships with some of these places. These are really cool things that they're doing. I don't remember if this was still his presentation or not. I did like the model here for designing and putting this together because it is probably a great example of how I want to write up my research on teachers self-evaluating their lesson planning or their planning in terms of quest or game-based learning experiences. Oh, here's Saul Rockman and Chris Dede chilling in the back of the room. Saul actually runs a really cool organization, and I would like to get involved with that. It is not affiliated with a university that I know of, but they do some really interesting, exciting things. So, and they also have an office down in San Francisco, which wouldn't be a bad city to live in because I've just been there and it was really exciting. But yeah, that might be something in the future or something similar. I was really impressed by some of his thoughts and some of his analysis of things that were presented. Here everybody is. The man with the glasses in the left-hand side, I just sent him an email. He is the chairperson for the SIG, and I'm trying to avoid using names in case they don't want their names posted publicly, but he was doing some really cool research out of University of Oregon, although he lives in Missoula, Montana, and so I'm really interested in seeing what he's doing and what comes up. Oh, here's me saying goodbye to SB, and there's one of the ubiquitous bow ties that I've been wearing all conference long. Here was something that was really interesting that's a new area for me to explore, and I'm really looking forward to it. This is, let me get it right, design-based implementation research. So it's a methodology for research that I'm really interested in. I think it would be much more effective in terms of my own research than a standard qualitative or quantitative study. I'll have to run it by the right people here. I'll have to run it by the research folks at Portland State. But I would really like to try out this methodology. It seems a lot more collaborative, a lot more in touch with the needs of practitioners, which is something I'm really interested in. And so while it might not have the high standing that quantitative or qualitative, more traditional studies have, it is a mixed methods approach, and there's some question about how the measurements are evaluated. But I really found it fascinating. So here's a couple of graphs from people's poster sessions related to that. And basically, it was, you have both a theoretical, what's going on in implementation practice, and then the organizational context. And it looks at more broadly, it's more holistic kinds of research. You design an intervention or a methodology, and then you try it out, you implement it, you learn things from it, you use that feedback, and you also measure the organizational context, and use that to inform and improve things, and then you do it again. It's a back and forth, so it's kind of iterative. It is iterative. And so I really like the evidence, the design-based implementation research. I really wanted to find and get a chance to talk to this lady from SRI on the nature of evidence, but she had a crowd, everybody had a crowd, the room was packed solid, so I didn't really get the information I wanted. This last slide that I jumped past for a second, this was really cool. They were actually showing the cycles, and they were providing background information on how to do one of these studies, but it was within the context of a study they had done. Same thing, bad picture, horrible picture, but again, they're there are these evolving models for how to do design-based implementation research. I had heard about design-based research, I had heard about implementation research, and this really grabs pieces. So here's kind of the principles. I did take a picture of this slide. Problems are designed or identified by both researcher and the other stakeholders. The group commits to this iterative or cycling collaborative design, which is really, really cool. And I think that would be great to get, Peggy Sheehy, Lucas Gillespie, others using game-based design to be involved and see what happens. I mean, smart people who know what they're doing in their practice and getting their feedback on the instrument that I'm hoping to develop. Concerned with developing knowledge and theory through disciplined inquiry, goal of developing capacity for seeing change in systems. So, it's just got these holistic pieces that are huge. So often in research we have to isolate variables, and as we isolate variables, that actually causes a change in that we don't know exactly how this will be implemented in different places. Sure, in the isolation chamber this happens, but what happens in reality? And so I'm kind of into this whole idea of breaking out of the isolation chamber of research and finding ways that are more holistic. It may be a bigger thing to take on in all of 2 years left in my program before our people that I need to stick around retire issue, but it's got some interesting, I want to try it, I really do. I kept trying to get pictures of this graph that he had here, and it's just, they're so blurry. He had a great model for the problems and the iterations that they were working to resolve them, and it was just really, really nice. And then I got back, it was all over, and the cat ignored me. I'm house sitting and the cat ignored me. And then when I said food, I had some attention, and that's really the end of my little presentation. Have fun. I hope to see everybody soon at ISTE. So if you're at ISTE, woohoo!